Hello, and welcome back to the Dice Guys boarding school. I'm Grant, your professor. Today's class is on the Isle of Cats, the Tetris-like cat rescue game. To win, you'll need to draft cards, entice fantastical felines with fish, and efficiently stow them on your ship for protection. The evil conqueror Vesh Darkhand is coming, and it's up to you to save the kitties. The first step is to place the island board somewhere central. This keeps track of turn order, which will change with each day, as well as denoting the field costs. The fields are abstract spaces to the left and right of the board, where the cats live, and thus where their tokens live. Place Vesh's boat on day 5. This will count down until the end of the game for scoring. Next are the common treasures, of which there are 4 kinds. Use 5 of each type for single and 2-player games, 8 of each for 3 players, and 11 for a full game of 4 players. With the treasure tiles, place the 6 Oshaks. These are the wild cat tokens, which you can choose the color of if you influence one. All of the wooden cat pieces, the fish tokens, and the permanent basket tokens can be placed anywhere within reach of all players. Shuffle up the discovery deck and place it within reach as well. Lastly, put all of the blue, green, orange, red, and purple cat tiles and the rare treasure tiles into the discovery bag. Each player receives a random boat and 1 permanent basket token. Decide a starting player randomly and go around the table, each player taking a cat figure from the supply and placing it on the island for turn order. Once this is done, you're ready to play. The Isle of Cats takes place over 5 days. These days are broken into phases to keep things simple. At the beginning, the first player in turn order takes tiles at random from the discovery bag. 8 cat tiles for 2 players, 12 for 3, and 16 for 4 players. If any of the rare treasures are pulled, set them with the common treasures below the island. They won't count toward the total number of tiles. Once all the cats have been pulled, divide them evenly between the right and left fields. Next, the game moves into the phases. The first phase is fishing, and each player gets 20 fish from the supply. Fish are the currency of Isle of Cats, used both to influence cats and purchase cards. The second phase is exploration, split into 2 parts. Selecting discoveries, in which all players draft cards from the discovery deck, and accessing discoveries, when you purchase cards with fish. To draft, the starting player deals 7 cards to each player, face down. Each player takes 2 of those cards they like and sets them aside, passing the remainder to their left. Then, they repeat this process until they are passed a single card. On days 1, 3, and 5, cards are passed to the left, and on days 2 and 4, they are passed to the right. Think of this as alternating directions each day. With that, the draft is done, and it's time to buy cards. Each of them has a number in the top left corner, and this cost must be paid in fish for each card you wish to keep, but you can keep as many of them as you like as long as you can pay for them. Keep your cards hidden, and any you choose to discard likewise keep face down. Phase 3 is reading lessons. These are special objectives to complete that can score you extra points at the end of the game and are always blue. They are split into 2 types. Public lessons are revealed to all players during this phase, and all players will score points for them at the end. Some might require you to choose a color, which you can do by taking one of the cat figures from the supply and placing it on the card as a reminder. Regular lessons are private, and will apply only to you. Place these face down next to your boat, but keep them visible. All players are allowed to know how many lessons any other player has collected. Next, it's time to start rescuing cats. Rescue cards are green, and are placed face down in front of each boat. When every player has picked which rescue cards they want to play, all are flipped face up simultaneously. Each card has some effects. Boots are the most important, and denote the overall speed value of your turn. The turn order will change, with the player with the highest speed value becoming the new starting player. You can also get new baskets on rescue cards. Baskets can only be used once, and 2 broken baskets count as a regular one. Each player also has a permanent basket, so they can rescue at least 1 cat a day. Flip yours face down when used. Some cards will let you earn more of these as the game progresses. Once the new turn order has been decided, it's time to begin rescuing. Only 1 cat may be taken each turn, but you may have as many turns as you want until you run out of fish, baskets, cats, or decide to pass. Any cat may be chosen, but you have to have enough fish and an empty basket to save it. Cats in the left field cost 3 fish each, and the ones in the right cost 5 fish each. Once a cat has been chosen, it's time to place it on the boat, and it's time for us to talk about boat rules. Each boat is divided into rooms. denoted by the symbol in the corner of each square. You lose points for every empty space, so efficiency is key. There are also rats on some of the tiles, which will lose you additional points if showing at the end. Some card effects, like lessons, refer to rows and columns, which are the horizontal and vertical lines of a single square. The white border around the boat is the edges, and no cat can go beyond this line. Two things are considered touching if at least one edge touches another edge. Diagonals don't count. Also remember that the walls and furniture on the boat are just graphic, and both cats and treasure you accumulate can overlap them. There are also 5 treasure maps, one of each color. If you place a cat matching that color, you get an extra of the common treasures, which you can immediately place. Once you have rescued a cat, you must immediately place it on your boat. You can change the orientation in any way you wish, but it must fully be within the confines of the edges of the boats and of the grid. Your first tile, be it cat, treasure, or Oshax, can go anywhere you choose, but every other tile you take following that must be placed adjacent to a tile already placed. Once all players have passed, or there are no cats left to rescue, the rescue phase is over, and it's time for rare finds. Oshax cards are brown, and treasures are yellow. You can only play 1 card a turn, but players can take as many turns as they like before they pass. When you befriend an Oshax or take a treasure, you must immediately place it on your boat, following the regular rules of placement. When placing an Oshax, you also get to choose what color it is, taking a cat figure from the supply. It will count as both an Oshax and a cat of the chosen color for the rest of the game for purposes of scoring. Lastly, the ending phase. Empty any remaining cats from the field and return them to the box, not the discovery bag. Move Vesh's boat 1 day further along the track, and if it hits the hand, you can begin scoring. Otherwise, reset any spent permanent baskets, and it's time for the next round. Any unspent cards and fish you have collected you get to keep, and you won't have to pay for cards a second time. There's no limit to how many cards you can have in hand, so save some up if you like. Repeat the phases of each day until Vesh's boat arrives, and scoring begins for the end of the game. The player with the most points wins the game. To get a final score, follow this list. You lose 1 point per visible rat on your boat, and 5 points for each room that isn't completely filled. Then, you gain points per cat family you have. Families are groups of 3 or more cats that share a color, and all members are touching at least one other member. Each group of 3 gets you 8 points, a group of 4 gets you 11, 5 gets you 15, 6 gets you 20, and 7 gets you 25. Any group you have 8 or more of gets you an additional 5 points per cat above 7. Each rare treasure you have claimed is worth 3 points. Then, reveal the lesson cards you have accumulated throughout the game and score points for any you have completed. Lastly, check all of the public lessons for any other points. Once you have a total, compare it with the other players to see who wins. In case of a tie, the player with the most fish wins, as they thought to bring a snack for the cats on the journey. If there's still a tie, both players win. Thank you for joining me for the Dice Guys Boarding School. Remember to pick up your copy of The Isle of Cats today at the Dice Guys game store or online at diceguys.com. See you soon!